Hi, this is Michael Tisserand. I'm author of this book, but more importantly here, I'm a lifelong Tiny Tim fan, and for one unforgettable day in Toledo, Ohio, I was lucky enough to become a Tiny Tim friend. If you know Tiny Tim at all, you know him from his novelty hit Tiptoe Through the Tulips, and maybe his television appearances in which talk show hosts usually rolled their eyes in shock at the big clown with the ukulele, and he always played along for the laugh. But that's not the Tiny Tim I met. Here's how it happened. In 1986, I walked from California to Washington, D.C. with a group called the Great Peace March. We walked in the desert. We walked in the mountains, and after 6 months of walking, we made it to Toledo, Ohio, where we walked right by a Ramada Inn with a sign that read, "Tonight, Tiny Tim." A few friends and I, including my tent mate, the cartoonist Guy Caldwell, scrounged up the $6 cover charge and went to the show, which was a great show, and then we somehow talked our way into whatever the Ramada Inn called backstage. While Tiny had been singing, Guy had sketched his portrait, which Tiny loved. In Ohio, he'd been mostly playing county fairs and tent circuses, and I remember that night he told me, seriously, that he felt like a caged animal. When I told him about the Peace March, his eyes lit up. He said it sounded just like the 1960s and he'd love to visit. We picked him up the next day. His ukulele in a shopping bag, Tiny wandered around the campsite meeting marchers. He was a walking, talking, warbling encyclopedia of old music, and he'd often serenade women with an old Tin Pan Alley song based on their names, singing "Paddlin' Madeline Home" for my friend Madeline. When another friend, Mark, told Tiny that all his life people said he looked like him, Tiny replied with understanding, "I'm sure you have your own talents." We briefly talked politics, and Tiny, whom I quickly learned was devoutly religious, brought up the devil, and we steered away from that. Then Tiny lifted his ukulele from the shopping bag and performed a whole show for us, surprising a few of us with a set that leaned on old World War I and World War II marching songs. After the last song was played, we gave him a standing ovation. He blew kisses, and I drove him back to the Ramada to get ready for that night's show. I thought that was it, until I returned home a few months later and saw an envelope waiting for me from Tiny. Inside was a tape he'd made of a couple of the songs I'd asked him about. I sent him a thank you card but never heard back again, and then I misplaced the tape for the next 30 years. I just found it again, and in memory of Tiny Tim, here it is. God bless Tiny Tim, and God blesses everyone.
Hello, Mr. Mike Tisserand. This is Tiny Tim, speaking to you at night on October 7th, 1986 at 9:42 at night. It is a nice fair day. The temperature is about 43. What a pleasure it was to meet you and your nice friends back at the Toledo, Ohio Peace Festival a few months ago. I will never forget that experience. And at that time, I told you when I got back, I would record you 2 songs, Marching Along Together and Bless the Peace. And here they are. This is Tiny Tim saying to you, Mr. Mike Tisserand, happy listening. Marching Along Together was written in 1932 by Mr. Edward Pola and Mr. Franz Steininger. American lyric by Mr. Mort Dixon. Published in 1932 by the Peter Maurice Music Company in London, England, and for the United States in 1933, given to Robbins Music Corporation here in New York City. Bless the Peace was written by Mr. Irving Caesar, published by Mr. Irving Caesar about 1946. Once more, this is Tiny Tim saying to you, Mr. Mike Tisserand, and to all your wonderful peace marchers, happy listening. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hooray, we're on our way in military clothes. Where are we bound for? Nobody knows. Even though we're short of dough, we've got a lot of pep, nothing to wait for. We're ready to step. Where do we go? What do we care? Gotta be off, we don't care where. Marching along together, sharing every smile and tear. Marching along together, whistling till the skies are clear. Swinging along the highway, over the road that's wide. Without a bugle, without a drum, we mean to chase the jinx. Oh, rum-ti-tiddity, here we come, we're happy hinky-dinks. Marching along together, life is wonderful side by side. 1, 2, 3, 4, marching along together. No one's gonna stop us now. Marching along together, no one's gonna stop us now. Rolling along the highway, sailing the sky and sea. Oh, rum-ti-tiddledy, beat the drum and hold on to your lids. Rum-ti-tiddledy, here we come, the Yankee Doodle Kids. Marching along together, all together to victory. And so you peace marchers, wherever you go, marching along together, sharing every smile and tear. Marching along together, whistling till the skies are clear. Swinging along the highway, over the road that's wide. Without a bugle, without a drum, we mean to chase the jinx. Oh, rum-ti-tiddledy, here we come, we're happy hinky-dinks. Marching along together, life is wonderful side by side. And so to you peach marchers once more, marching along together, all together to victory. 3, 4, whoa, marching along together, sharing every smile and tear. Marching along together, whistling till the skies are clear. Swinging along the highway, over the road that's wide. Without a bugle, without a drum, we mean to chase the jinx. Oh, rum-ti-tiddledy, here we come, we're happy hinky-dinks. Marching along together, life is wonderful side by side. 1, 2, 3, marching along together. No one's gonna stop us now. Marching along together, no one's gonna stop us now. Rolling along the highway, sailing the sky and sea. Oh, rum-ti-tiddledy, beat the drum and hold on to your lids. Rum-ti-tiddledy, here we come, we're Yankee Doodle Kids. Marching along together, all together to victory.
And now, Mr. Mike Tisserand, this is Tiny Tim saying my next song is called Hallelujah, Bless the Peace, dedicated to all you wonderful peace marchers, and written in 1946 by Mr. Irving Caesar, who wrote Tea for Two and Just a Gigolo. There are fields to be tilled, lots of steel to be milled, there are jobs to be filled. Hallelujah, get along. There are slums to be cleared and new homes to be reared, so our hearts can be cheered with a song. Lots of bread we must make and new things we must make, so wake up, brother, wake. Hallelujah, rise and shine. Need more trucks, need more planes, need more tracks, need more trains. We need hands, we need brains, yours and mine. Now we have electricity and we have lots of steam, but they won't work for you and me if we just sit around and dream. Dig the coal, pump the oil, plant the seed in the soil, Thank the Lord you can toil till his bounty you increase. Now a new day's begun. There's more work to be done. Raise your voice, everyone. Hallelujah, bless the peace. Now we have electricity, we have lots of steam, but they won't work for you and me if we just sit around and dream. Dig the coal, pump the oil, plant the seed in the soil. Thank the Lord you can toil till his bounty you increase. Now a new day's begun. There's more work to be done. Raise your voice, everyone. Hallelujah, bless the peace. Yay! And to you wonderful peace marchers, this is Tiny Tim saying, happy traveling. Marching along together, life is wonderful side by side.